Greetings and salutations. Second Star Right, back with some more Raid Shadow Legends, and I thought today we would go over the top 5 most fun champions to use in Raid. This is a very subjective list because fun is of course subjective, and I'm also only counting champions that I've actually used. So there's probably a huge discrepancy between what you're seeing in this video and maybe what you think, but that's good, right? Because it's only champions I've used, it's only champions that I have, so if you have another review, please put it in the comments. I'm always looking forward to learning new ways to get through this game, new champions to use, new skills, new everything. There's so much out there. I haven't experienced it all yet. In fact, I was commenting with someone earlier this week that 90% of the enjoyment I derive from Raid is just finding new ways to do the same things over and over again, right? So I would be very interested to hear what you have to say, who your favorite champions are. Just drop me in the comments, and so that way next time we do a shard opening or what have you, I'll know what to look for. Alright, so I am going to start out in a faction that I didn't know that I was going to find so many champions that I enjoy playing. Skinwalkers. Alright, I'm going to start out right with Longbeard. Okay? Longbeard is one of the early champions, early legendaries that I got. He's really cool character design, but the fun part about him, I think, is his A3 ally attack. Attacks an enemy with 4 allies, increase the damage inflicted by those allies by 20%. So I guess they got that gang mentality, right? The whole passion battle comes in. They attack one single opponent with their A1. If their A1 is AoE, then of course they do their AoE, but they always do their A1, and their A1 does 20% more damage when you use Longbeard's A3. It's on a 5-turn cooldown and get down to 4 turns with just one book. It's awesome, really fun. I love it. It's great in Clan Boss, when everyone has their War Master or Giant Slayer or what have you, and they heal up and you're doing it all the time. You're on a counter attack, whatever. It's really good in a lot of different places. Really fun skill. His A2 is not as fun. It's just a weaken that attacks one enemy. But it is on a 3-turn cooldown that you can actually get down to 2 turns, and it hits pretty hard. It's a really decent A2. It's in the top 10, I think, for damage modifiers. Okay, so his A1, also awesome. Attacks an enemy, will ignore shield and block damage buffs. Okay, so he's using his A1 on his A1, he's using his A1 on his A3, he's ignoring shield, ignoring block damage. Really powerful, I love it. Those Valkyrie, Roshkard the Tower, all those irritating champions, Longbeard can make short work of. He's really cool. Plus, he has an ally crit rate aura in dungeons by 23%, so you can kind of gear down your crit rate and add more crit damage or survivability or what have you. Excellent all-around champion in a lot of different places. Longbeard is a lot of fun to use. Sticking with this faction, we're going to go on to Basher. Basher, I did not know I was going to like. When I drew him from the Void Shard, it was, Void Shard double summoning weekend. I was so psyched to get Madame Saris, which I didn't get, right? So I was kind of disappointed in everything that I did get, and I pulled a Basher. I was not happy about it, but when my commenter said, hey, pay attention to Basher's kit, it's actually really useful. So I did, and Basher is a lot of fun. Okay, his A1 is called Splintering Bash, attacks the enemy, 75% chance to place, and 25% weaken, debuff for 2 turns. Okay, again, weaken is one of those skills that gets better the stronger your champions get. It kind of begins to overtake even a defense down as you start to get really strong. So weaken on an A1 is a really good skill to have. Since Stinging Blast is his A2, it's on a 4-turn cooldown that you can get down to 3 turns, and this is an amazing skill. It's an AoE, attacks all enemies, increases the cooldown of all the target skills by 2 turns. That's the entire wave, all their skills, on cooldown for 2 turns. Not a percent chance to do it, it just places it. Yes, they can resist it, so you do have to pass the resist check, but other than that, that is an amazing skill, especially when you get it down to 3 turns. Helps with in Nightmare campaign, helps with waves getting over to the dungeon bosses. Really strong skill. Makes everything 2 turns easier in the game. Really cool. 4 turns easier, 3 turns easier. You know what I mean. Basher's awesome. His A2 is fantastic. Cause Fear is his level 3, which is interesting because it doesn't actually cause fear. I guess he came out kind of before fear was a debuff. So they named it Cause Fear, does not cause fear, blocks buffs instead. Attacks 4 times at random, 75% chance of placing a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. Okay, so I don't really like things that attack at random, but it attacks 4 times, so the less enemies you get, the more damage it does to those enemies, and you can block their buffs. It's actually a really fun skill. I'm super pleased with Basher. I did not think it was going to be, but there was definitely a silver lining to not drawing Madame Ceres, because Basher I found to be a very enjoyable champion to use. Alright, so who do we have next? Let's go with the Undead Hordes. Okay, moving on to Undead Hordes. Now, all of the Halloween champions from last October were really fun, but my first favorite was Harvest Jack. First of all, he looks great. I love the fact that he has all the starter champions unceremoniously shrunken-headed and strung along his tunic. You never trust anyone in a tunic. He's a great design. I really enjoy how Harvest Jack looks, and his kit is worthy of his awesome character design. Okay, so Harvest of Fear attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 25% chance of stealing a random buff from the target. So if they have 3 buffs, you can hit them 3 times. You can potentially steal all of their buffs. Each hit also has a 25% chance of placing a fear debuff for 1 turn if the target has no active buffs. Okay, and the chance increases to 100% if all the buffs are stolen from this target. So you could steal all their buffs and then place a fear. Really awesome champion, awesome skill, awesome A1. The problem is that he's HP based, and the iteration here doesn't feel like he does a lot of damage, but he does do a lot of awesome buffs and debuffs. So we're just gonna say Harvest Jack isn't really there for the damage. He's there to do other things, but those other things are actually really cool. His A2 is called Dreams to Ash, which is a great name for a skill. Attacks all enemies, places a block buffs debuff for 2 turns on targets under fear. So that works in with his A1. Removes any increased attack buff from the target and replaces them with a decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. And then removes any continuous heal from the target and replaces them with a poison debuff for 2 turns. The number of poison buffs equals the number of continuous heal buffs removed. Okay, so say you're going up against like a bad Alcazar, you know, he's got 3 continuous heals buffs on him, a Gorgrab or what have you has given him an attack up. You change his attack up to an attack down. You change all of his continuous heals to poisons. It's really, really cool, irritating A2. Now there's that notion, you know, is this fun or is this irritating? I guess it depends on what side of the fight you're on, right? So it's a really fun A2 to use. Lord of Terror is his A3. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a True Fear debuff for 1 turn. Also places a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns, and decreases each target's turn meter by 15% if the True Fear debuff is placed. That's a lot to unpack, but suffice to say, it's excellent crowd control and excellent speed manipulation for his A3. Also has a 75% chance of placing a sleep debuff for 1 turn if the True Fear debuff is not placed. So you're going to be doing some kind of crowd control with this A3, be it a True Fear or a sleep. Really awesome to do 3 things on 1 skill. It does take 5 books to get it down to a 4-turn cooldown, which is kind of pricey, but not bad for what you're getting. And when attacked, decreases the duration of all buffs on the attacker by 1 turn. So even when he's not stealing buffs with his A1, you can decrease the duration by attacking. Really, really fun champion to use in a lot of different places. Harvest Jack is, and he's survivability of the his hit point based archetype. He lives forever. A really, really good champion. A lot of fun to use. Okay, going down to the last 2. All right, let's see. We're gonna stick with the undead theme. We're gonna skip over to the Knight's Revenant. Okay, so I don't see this champion getting a lot of play, but I really, really enjoy the Crypt Witch. She is a lot of fun to use. She's cool looking, looks like a Cenobite. I'm a big Clive Barker fan. This definitely is fitting. I don't know why she has a xenomorph erupting out of the back of her skull, but I kind of like it, right? It's pretty cool. She's got the Latin over the death mask. I go into that a bit in my Crypt Witch video, so I'll just put a little card in there. But Crypt Witch has a really cool kit. Now it Screams Arena, which is also really good in the Magic and Force Keeps also. Okay, so let's go over. A1. Attacks 1 enemy, deals 30% more damage if the target has any buffs, and will ignore shield and block damage buffs. Okay, so you're going up against Valkyrie and Roshkard, right? I didn't like those with Longbeard. I don't like them with Crypt Witch either, but she will not only ignore the shield and block damage buffs that they have, she also deals 30% more damage when they have them. Awesome skill. Now, there is some drawbacks. This champion is super squishy, so kind of to make her survive in the arena, you have to kind of stack defense and hit points, which you ordinarily won't want to do because you want that damage, but that damage potential is hard to reach with her because she's so squishy. So there is that, but still, there's a lot of really cool things in the arena. Okay, so attacks 2 times at random, 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns on her A2. That is not bad. It's a very strong A2. Then you can get down to a 3-turn cooldown, but you do have to put in 5 books, which kind of stinks. A3, though, is amazing. Not so fast. Attacks 1 enemy, will ignore 50% of the target's defense if this target is faster than the champion. Okay, so that's a little bit hard to quantify, right? Because their speed kind of changes throughout the match. But if you can nail it just right, and maybe if you have Helm Smasher or some Cruel Gear or Savage Gear or whatever, stuff that ignores defense, you can deal massive amounts of damage with this A3. Actually, I think I have an example of me going up against someone. Let me see. I'm going to go to the media source and see what we get here. Okay, so there's Zelata. Zelata is over 50% health, and now he's dead. All right, we did 27,000 damage with that A3. RNG fell into place. We got a massive hit on him and took out Zelata, who was a really irritating defense-based champion in arena with shields and what have you. But we were able to take him out without much effort whatsoever. Crypt Witch is just a lot of fun. Okay, before we get into the last champion, let's give a shout out to where is he? He's a Dark Elf. A runner-up, someone who's just a lot of fun to use in a lot of different places. Maybe he's not a Dark Elf. Where is he? He's rare. Oh, here he is. Paragon. Paragon is a lot of fun to use. You don't even have to bring him to level 60 if you don't want to. You can utilize his unkillable buff in a lot of different ways, a lot of different places. It's one of the ways most people get through the Nightmare campaign. Paragon is a lot of fun. We're just going to, I won't talk about him in this one because it's just the runner-up, right? But Paragon, if you have him, a lot of use and a lot of fun. You can cause a lot of headaches to your opponents by using a Paragon. Really strong rare. Okay, where is... You know what? My number one's a Dark Elf too. I didn't have to go very far there, did I? Okay. Before we continue, if you enjoy what you're seeing, please throw me a like. I would appreciate it. The algorithm loves it. I love it. It really helps with generating impressions for YouTube. Throw me likes if you can. I appreciate it. Also, if you enjoy this, please subscribe. I would love to have more subscribers. Join Discord. I would love to talk with more people. I'm having a good time doing this. You guys are great. So if you wanted to do that, I would certainly appreciate it. And now let's get into my favorite champion to use this most fun, Astrolith. Don't click away. Seriously, listen to this. Astrolith is a lot of fun. Yes, she's not the strongest. She's not the best. But in the arena, in Ice Golems is another good place to use her. There are a few champions that are more fun. Okay, and we'll get into why. Okay, so first of all, she has excellent turn meter manipulation on her A1. It's called Assault Leader. Attacks one enemy, fills the turn meter of a random ally by 15%. That's good. Fills the turn meter of all allies by a further 15% if the attack is critical. Alright, so yeah, crit builds, that's something we're used to doing for our champions, and she does a tremendous amount of turn meter manipulation with her A1, which is it's great. You will lap your opponents constantly with this champion. Okay, Heart Rot is her A2, attacks an enemy, places 2 bomb debuffs that detonate after 1 turn. Okay, I made a bomb video recently. She is not the best bomber, but she's pretty good, and just having to wait 1 turn mitigates a lot of the waste that you see with some bombers that have like a long cooldown on their, or a long timer on their bombs, where you'll kill your opponent before the bombs even go off. It's kind of a waste of energy, especially if you're autoing. So, only having to wait 1 turn, and it deals a pretty significant amount of damage. Bombs ignore defense. A lot of fun. A stronger A2 than you would think. But the key here is her A3, which I absolutely love. Judgment. Exchanges remaining hit point levels with a target enemy, then attacks the default skill. Of course, it can't be used on a boss. That'd be insane. But then it also gains an extra turn and decreases the cooldown of the skill by 3 turns if this champion's hit points drops below 20% when attacked. It's on a long cooldown, of course, because it's such a fun skill, but you can get it down to 5 turns from 7 with only 2 books, right? Astrolith is a lot of fun, and I will show you. I actually have some resources here. Oh, Zelota, I like your hit point bar there. I'm very jealous because I have hardly any hit point bar. Oh, look at that. And we swapped, and now you're dead. And I increased the turn meter of Tormund and myself. Awesome. So much fun. Totally took out. They thought they had me against the ropes, but tables were turned. Okay, let's see here. I think we have more. Let's go to... Oh, Doom Priest. Oh, you got me on the ropes too. I'm almost dead. Oh, well, that's we're going to have to do something about that. All right, let's swap health, and now let me take you out. And her bombs took out the Apothecary. So that was a twofer. All right, we took out Doom Priest and took out Apothecary. Absolutely fantastic. Good job, Astrolith. And one more. I hate you, Duchess Lilitu. I hate you so much. Why won't you die? You never die. I'm almost dead. Oh, there we go. Now you're dead. Okay. Oh, come on, man. I don't know if anyone hates Duchess Lilitu as much as I do. She's my most despised champion in this entire game. But that's one way to do it. That's one way to take her out. Let her kill you to have a sliver of health, and then just swap, and then make her dead, and increase your turn meter, and you can go from there. I'm a big fan of Astrolith. Yes, you can't use her everywhere, and it's kind of difficult to get her to work right, but when everything comes together, it's so much fun. I had a great time going through Arena and finding all those champions that I hated fighting and just swapping their health to them and killing them. I encourage everyone to try it if you have the opportunity to do so. If you don't have an Astrolith, the Centurion, who was in Undead Hordes, I believe. Let's look, shall we? Centurion has the same skills. The only other champion in the game with that skill. Let's look here. Knight's Revenant, was it? There he is. Alright, for some reason he's painted like Spider-Man. I don't know why. Captain America. But Centurion also has exchange swap health ability. So if you don't have Astrolith, because she's legendary, a bit hard to find, but Centurion is a void rare that'll pop up occasionally. And if you want to just play around in that in the arena, you could do worse. It's a lot of fun. All right, so those are my top 5 and my Paragon honorable mention. What do you think? I want to know what your favorites are, the ones you'd use. Even though you know they're not the best, you still use them because they're just so much fun, and you don't want to leave them behind. We all have, those champions that have, we have a soft spot in our hearts for them. And now you know mine, and I'd like to hear yours. So please put them down in the comments below. I'd love to read about it, and throw me some likes. Subscribe if you want to see more. I will do this as much as I can. Work's been crazy, but man, I love this. I love you guys. You guys are so much so supportive, and with all your comments, the channel's growing. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. I want you to stay safe out there, have fun, and I'll see you next time.